Recently, rapper Nelly ignited controversy by asserting that he is more pro-black than Vice President Kamala Harris, a claim rooted in personal, political, and racial considerations. His remarks emerged in response to criticism he faced for performing at Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017, an act that some labeled as a betrayal of his racial identity. Nelly's defense of his decision, along with his commentary on political neutrality, provides insight into the complexities of racial allegiance and the role of entertainers in sociopolitical discourse. Nelly's primary argument in defending his performance at Trump's inauguration was that he views such an opportunity as an apolitical honor rather than an endorsement. He emphasized that performing for a sitting president is a civic gesture, akin to the military's duty to serve regardless of administration. "It's an honor to perform for the President of the United States, regardless of who is in office," he stated, adding that he would have performed for Biden or Harris under the same circumstances. This perspective underscores a distinction between professional engagements and personal political affiliations, a nuance often lost in polarized climates. Nelly further reinforced his stance by drawing parallels to military service, noting that soldiers pledge allegiance to the office, not the individual occupying it. While this reasoning may resonate with those who prioritize respect for institutions, critics argue that public figures, particularly those with significant black audiences, bear a responsibility to consider the broader implications of aligning with politically divisive figures. Trump's history of racially inflammatory rhetoric and policies has led many to view any association with his administration as an implicit endorsement. Nelly's insistence on neutrality, therefore, clashes with the expectation that black celebrities should leverage their platforms to challenge systemic inequities. His assertion that performing for somebody and voting for somebody is two different things attempts to separate art from politics, but in an era where cultural and political identities are deeply intertwined, such distinctions are increasingly difficult to maintain. Beyond defending his performance, Nelly's critique of Kamala Harris introduced a more provocative dimension to the discussion. By claiming to be more pro-black than Harris, he invoked personal and political factors to justify his stance. He pointed to his marriage to Ashanti, a black woman, and their child as evidence of his commitment to blackness, contrasting this with Harris's marriage to a white man and their blended family. This line of argumentation reflects a problematic tendency to equate racial authenticity with personal relationships, a reductionist view that ignores systemic advocacy and policy impacts. Furthermore, Nelly highlighted his support for historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, a commendable effort, though not inherently indicative of a broader political stance. His remarks about Harris being a woman of color with the white husband and white kids not only veer into divisive identity politics, but also overlook her record as the first black and South Asian vice president, as well as her career as a prosecutor and senator. Nelly's comments also included a pointed critique of Democratic voters, whom he accused of being salty over Harris's electoral outcomes. He distanced himself from what he perceives as misplaced loyalty to Harris, referencing her prosecutorial record and implying that her actions disproportionately harmed black men. The backlash to Nelly's statements has been sharp, with many dismissing his reasoning as incoherent or hypocritical. Critics argue that his attempt to position himself as more racially conscious than Harris relies on superficial metrics, such as marital choices, while ignoring substantive policy discussions. Others contend that his performance at Trump's inauguration, coupled with his subsequent remarks, undermines any claim to racial solidarity. The comparison to Chris Brown, another celebrity whose controversial statements have drawn criticism, suggests a broader skepticism toward entertainers opining on complex sociopolitical issues without substantive engagement. Ultimately, Nelly's comments reveal the tensions inherent in navigating racial identity, political allegiance, and public perception. While his intent may have been to assert his independence from partisan expectations, his arguments often conflate personal choices with systemic advocacy, weakening their impact. The debate also highlights the challenges black public figures face in balancing personal beliefs with collective expectations, particularly in an era where every action is scrutinized through political and racial lenses. Whether Nelly's stance will resonate with his audience or further alienate critics remains to be seen, but the discussion underscores the enduring complexity of race, representation, and responsibility in the public sphere.